Good evening, folks. This is Sean Patrick Erschen at the Horror Corner. And I'm just doing this little stream to test my microphone. Got a new microphone here. It's the Blue Nano, I guess. The reason I got this was to, people don't seem to hear me too well when I do my live stream. So I want to make sure people hear me well. It was kind of disappointing the other night when I was doing the horror hangout live stream, and like little less than halfway through, people's my voice started to drown out. It seemed like the more people I added on the stream, the more my voice kind of got drowned out, and I've had that problem in the past as well. And it kind of sucks because that was such a great stream, and everybody did such a great job, and I had a blast. I just wish people could hear me. But people heard everyone else. Horrific Nightmares, JM, and the Horror Miser, Monty G. Jen's Reviews from the Grave, Hellhound from the Horror Metal Channel. And, and everybody did such a great job. So let me check now. Everybody did such a great job. So let me check now. Everybody did such a great job. So let me check now. Sounds pretty good. So let me check now. Sounds pretty good. All right, seems to sound all right. So hopefully it's worth the investment. We'll have to see when people join in with me and stuff. I also want to make an announcement, guys. I am doing a live stream with Derek's Horror Corner this Friday at I think is it 7 or 8, Derek? I can't remember. I had to look in my Facebook Messenger. We're going to be streaming Maniac from 1980, the classic slasher film from 1980. Maniac. So hopefully you guys can join me. I'll have my microphone with me, so people can actually hear me. Oh man. But yeah, thanks everyone so much for joining us for the Horror Hangout live stream. That was such a great time. It was really cool to be back on a live stream with my fellow YouTubers, my friends. And we had such a good time. We had some great conversation, talking about some horror, which we're all massive horror fans here. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I started this channel. And it's been such a blast for the past, I don't know how many years now. I'd say at least since 2012. I think I did a couple videos even before then, but weren't like official horror reviews or anything. There was a period there when I first started screwing around YouTube that I didn't really have any plan or anything. I was just screwing around with stuff, random stuff. So guys, let me know how this sounds. Does it sound good? Can you guys hear me well? Looking at my video on YouTube, it seems all right. Yeah, the real test, of course, is when people join in, If there's anyone out there that wants to join in, I'll be glad to have you on, and then that way you can really test it. Like if one of you guys are out there, Jen or Christian or anybody, Bronco Juggalo, you're probably doing the Slash Brothers stream, so check those guys out. Yeah, so I'm excited doing the live stream there with Derek's Horror Corner. Big fan of his channel. He's got a great channel. So if you guys have not subscribed to Derek's Horror Corner yet, please do so. Like and subscribe to his account. Awesome, awesome content. Great movie reviews. Great like top 5 and top 10 lists. He did one today that was like the top 5 70s horror films. That was awesome. All kinds of great stuff on his channel. So highly recommend his channel, and I highly recommend you tune in to our live stream where we're going to do live commentary from Maniac, 1980s slasher masterpiece, I would say. Yeah, I would say Maniac is a slasher masterpiece from 1980. It's just one that it's one of the solo, one-shot slasher movies that just sticks out, because it was a great psychological study of a madman, loose, and the terror of a maniac being loose on the streets of New York City, stalking and killing young women. And it felt so gritty and raw and realistic, and it actually scares me, It really does, because that stuff really happens in real life, There are maniacs out there, unfortunately. It almost hits too close to home in a way. So what's everybody out there up to in YouTube land today? So yeah, we had such a fun time. I know Friday's a big night for streams. There's a lot of live streaming going on. I saw Andrew Ballina was out there doing stream. You got the Super Slash Brothers, all great stuff. Definitely check out them. All those channels are great. I know Derek's Horror Corner was doing one today. I think he was doing the Omen franchise ranking, which is awesome. Really cool stuff. So how does it sound? Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2. What the F you gonna do? Just start rapping. Uh, Believe it or not, I used to write some rap in my day. I'm not saying I'm a rapper or anything, not even close. I could never remember all my lyrics, but I do write poetry, and it happens to rhyme sometimes. And some might consider it rap, but I wouldn't be able to perform it or anything. I could just recite it like a poem. There's no way I'd be able to memorize all my lyrics, but I've amassed quite a collection of poems over the years. It sounds pretty good. Movie Freak 688. Thank you. It sounds good. Eric Griffin. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. So it sounds good. Glad to hear that. Yes. Had a little trouble the other night with my mic. Well, I didn't have a mic because that's the trouble. Finally got one, and over at Best Buy today. So yeah. They have a pretty wide selection there, I must say. And this just seemed like a good one that was fairly reasonable in price, and it's pretty sturdy, pretty solid, and I didn't want some clunky like or cheap plastic junk. This one is solid and sturdy. It seems like a pretty decent mic. Of course, the real test will be when I do live stream with other people. Can they hear me? When I got multiple people on there, because I do plan on doing a horror hangout live stream again, as we talked about the other night. Everybody seems to be into it. They want to do it. So I hope to keep doing it. And it's such a great time. It's an absolute blast. Love hanging with my buddies. It was great to see Hellhound back on the YouTube too. Great guy, YouTuber, with a wealth of knowledge on not only horror but heavy metal music. Another one of my favorite things in the world. I freaking love heavy metal. I could talk about heavy metal. I could do a channel on heavy metal if I wanted to, because I could talk about it all day. Even though I'm not a musician, I have no talent in music or anything. I'm just a massive fan. I'm like a nerd for music, just like I am horror. Kyle Winfrey, what's up? How you doing, man? Welcome to the horror corner. Should I do some Christopher Lee voice or something? That would really test it out. Or Dr. Loomis. Want to hear a little Dr. Loomis? I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man, he's not human. He's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone. I love Dr. Loomis. I love Donald Pleasance. One of my favorite characters in the history of movies. How can you not love that guy? So those of you watching, thanks for watching, and thanks for the feedback, guys. We got Kyle Winfrey and Eric Griffin and Movie Freak 688 in the chat. Chilling out. I'm just messing around at this point. I was just doing this little stream to test my mic, and hey, screw it. Maybe I'll hang out for a while. The guy on Foundflix always says that he shot him 7 times. Who's what's Foundflix? Foundflix, what is that? Technically, he did shoot him 7 times if you watch Halloween 2. Because they kind of messed that up when they reshot that opening scene, which was the end of Halloween 1978, but they reshot that like last scene when he gets shot and he falls off the balcony. And they screwed up there. You shot him 7 times because you hear it. I still don't understand why they did that, why they even felt the need to reshoot that little part. You could have just easily left it the way it was and then pick up Halloween 2 where it did, from when Michael got up and walked away. There was no need to do that little part, and it didn't work out right because they messed it up. One of the very minor nitpicks of Halloween 2, because you guys know I freaking love Halloween 2. But that is one little, they kind of messed that up. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it, or you can help me to stop it. Okay, I'll do a little Christopher Lee for you guys. Christopher Lee Dracula. Ready? You demand. Sorry, I can't even do it. I am Dracula, and I welcome you to my house. I have come to destroy the house of Van Helsing, the old through the young. You and your line have been chosen. What do you got? You guys ready for Halloween Kills or what? Coming out this year, finally. What are you guys looking for? What do you want to see with Halloween Kills, huh? What do you think's gonna happen? We know the casting so far. Of course, you got Kyle Richards coming back as Lindsay Wallace, which I thought was really cool that they got her back. Very cool. It's unfortunate that they Oh, Kyle Winfrey said he was good as Count Dooku in Star Wars. Yeah, one of the few things I liked about those movies. Yeah, not a big fan of the prequels. I'm sorry. I'm a purist when it comes to Star Wars. I just like the original. I actually do like the new trilogy, to be honest. I did enjoy The Rise of Skywalker. We got pages, films, and plastics in the house. What's going on? Movie Freak 688 says, I like the recap in Halloween 2. Has music from Halloween 2 and not the original. Oh, yeah, I love the music. The music is fantastic, you know. It's just fun to see some of the original film with the new music. That's a good point. Hey, Dino in the house. What's going on? A late horror show. And thanks for joining us the other night. Sorry I didn't get a chance to. I actually did say a name, but you probably didn't hear me. Welcome to the Horror Corner. Oh, sounds good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for telling me. Hey guys, if you're just joining us, we got the late late horror show in the house. Kyle Winfrey, Pages, Films, and Plastics, and Movie Freak 688, and Eric Griffin in the house. What's up? Yeah, Count Dooku, I did enjoy him. Isn't it cool that they had Christopher Lee as Count Dooku in the prequels, and they had Peter Cushing in the original Star Wars? How cool is that? And I love him in that movie. Peter Cushing owned that role, you know, as Grand Moff Tarkin. You don't know how hard it was signing the order to terminate your life. Charming to the last. I grow tired of asking, so it'll be the last time. Where is your secret rebel base? Freaking love, because, you know, I'm a big Hammer fan. You know, I love Hammer horror. Then, you know, just tell me, tell me you don't think of Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee when you think of Hammer. That's the absolute first thing you think of. How many movies did they eat? It seems like half the Hammer films were either Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing or both together. They just made Hammer. I mean, you had some other stars like Oliver Reed and stuff like that. Ingrid Pitt, of course. Carolyn Monroe. But those guys just owned, you know. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing just were the anchors of Hammer horror. You gotta give it up to them. It all started with the when they started doing horror anyway. It was The Curse of Frankenstein was their first real foray into horror. Before that, they did stuff like, you know, Quatermass and the Pit and stuff like that. And they did sci-fi stuff and other things, but they didn't really get into horror really until Curse of Frankenstein. That's what really put them on the map. And then, of course, 1958's Dracula, or Horror of Dracula, which just blew them wide open, you know, in the world of horror. Even Vincent Price, yeah. Vincent Price, of course, is another legend of horror, you know? Absolutely. Vincent Price worked with Peter Cushing in Madhouse, right? Yeah, that's one of my favorite Christopher Lee, Vincent Price movies. Sorry, that's one of my favorite Vincent Price movies. Might be my favorite actually. There's a lot of great ones. The House on Haunted Hill is a freaking classic. He was in the original Fly, and as well as Return of the Fly, and The Last Man on Earth. That's a great one too. And that, I believe, was based on the I Am Legend novel, if I'm not mistaken, which so many other films have adapted that, including there was I Am Omega. I think it was with Charlton Heston. And of course, I Am Legend with Will Smith, which I actually really enjoyed. A lot of people don't really talk about that. I enjoy it. Yeah, it had a lot of CGI, and maybe the vampire zombie hybrid things look kind of didn't quite look right. There was too much CGI in there. It could have been a little better. Could have looked more real. But I thought it had some good scary stuff, and I think Will Smith was fantastic in the role. Vincent Price coincided with Boris Karloff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Boris Karloff, the original Frankenstein's monster from Universal. Kyle Winfrey says Lee always said he regretted turning down the Dr. Loomis role. House of Wax is my favorite Price movie. Yeah, that's true. He did always say that. And can you just imagine if Christopher Lee did take that? And it's like, I don't know, how it would. I'm sure he would have did a great job. No question, he would have. But I don't know, but the fact that he's so tall and like intimidating, and his voice is so deep and commanding, it might overshadow the threat of Michael Myers. Not sure. I'm sure he would do a great job. There's no question about it. But I just think Donald Pleasance just owned that role. I don't think anybody could have possibly played it any better. He's just the perfect man to play that role. That was his shining moment, and he deserved to have it. So I'm glad in a way that it wasn't Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing or somebody, because Donald Pleasance deserved to have that shining moment. Sure, he's done plenty of other great roles, like a Blofeld in the James Bond. Right. I believe that was You Only Live Twice, where he played Blofeld. And he was in The Great Escape, and he did some other movies with John Carpenter, of course. Escape from New York, when he played the president. The Prince of Darkness, all that stuff. He's done so many good roles. But the one role that everyone seems to remember him from is definitely Dr. Loomis in Halloween. I mean, what would Halloween be without Dr. Loomis? He's just one of the best characters in horror history. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. If you're just hanging out with us, I'm just hanging out, basically doing a mic check here on my new microphone, and it seems to be working all right so far. People are saying in the chat that it's working good. So, if you guys are just joining us, I do have a live stream coming up this coming Friday with Derek's Horror Corner. Yeah, and we're going to do audio commentary on Maniac from 1980, the classic slasher starring Joe Spinell. Such an amazing film, and I'm very much looking forward to talking with Derek about that and going over some of the details and some of my favorite scenes, and it's going to be a blast. Can't wait. I'll be bringing my microphone so you can hear me. So look forward to that. I only did one other commentary. I think it was Dario Argento's opera, but it's real late at night, and I don't think anybody showed up. How about Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? Oh, you kidding me? That's my favorite horror comedy of all time. It's the greatest horror comedy ever. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein has to be. The Mummy, The Invisible Man, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, of course. Those are classics, immortal classics. Just ask the Late Late Horror Show. That's their favorite thing, man. That's their thing. If you guys ever watch the Late Late Horror Show, which I highly recommend you do, it's a great channel, and they have so much respect for old school classic horror, and I love that. And that's probably the reason why I watch their channel a lot. Mainly, and they do a lot of new stuff too, yeah, but I'd say their main focus is the old school horror, like Universal, and they do some Hammer stuff now and then, and even like Amicus stuff and British horror. We'll view the Late Late. Yes, Pages, Films, and Plastic. I highly recommend it. Go and subscribe to that channel. Check out Dino and Ted show. Great show. Also, check out if you guys are not subscribed to some of my buddies that were on the stream the other night. The Horror Miser Monty G's got a great channel. Check him out. Check out Jen's Reviews from the Grave. That is Jen and Christian. She does the show with her son, and I just think that's so cool. And they are hilarious. Not only they know their horror, but they're so freaking funny. Who does not like Universal Studios monsters? Duh, yeah. A good question. Who the hell doesn't love them? Should have your head examined if you don't love Universal monster movies. I tell you, one I really love is more and more every time I watch it is The Wolf Man. I freaking love that movie. Lon Chaney Jr. is so great in that role of Lawrence Talbot. It's just such a tragic character. I love the tragedy of it. Is that he's such a good guy, but he just can't help what he is. That the tragedy. He's inflicted with the curse, the werewolf, the pentagram. I love how he gets that cane with the silver top on it with the werewolf sign of the werewolf, and it's got the pentagram. A lot of cool visuals there too. When he's like dreaming, he sees the sign of the pentagram and stuff. Awesome, awesome movie. Movie Freak 688 says Wolfman is my favorite too. Nice. Get that Bella Lugosi is in that movie. He plays the fortune teller, Bella, who is a werewolf. He's the one that actually bites Larry Talbot. Kyle Winfrey says, keep Hollywood away from remaking anymore. Frankenstein is my favorite, and he is a tragic character. Absolutely. I mean, I think Frankenstein is a bit death. What else can you possibly do with it? That's remade movie of all time, or remade story, I should say, remade novel adaptation of a film. And none of them compared to me, none of them come even close to the well, I shouldn't say that. I did like the Hammer version, Curse of Frankenstein. Ben Grimm's in the house. Welcome, Ben Grimm. Who is your least favorite Universal monster? Asked Ben Grimm. Least favorite? Oh, that is tough. There's so many good ones. Hmm. Say out of all, even though I really like them, I'm not a huge fan of the creature from the Black Lagoon. I love the look of it. I love the design of the costume and the makeup effects. It's fantastic, but the movies themselves, I'm not like a huge fan of. I like them. They're good, but I'm just not like a huge fan of it. I'd say, compared to Frankenstein and Dracula and the Wolfman, um, Creature from the Black Lagoon would be my least favorite of those. To answer your question, Ben, I know it's like blasphemy, but don't get me wrong. I like the movies. It's just when you compare it to Frankenstein and Dracula, no. Pages, Films, and Plastics is getting upset. What? The Creature from the Black Lagoon? I love it. I know I like it. I love it too, but it's just trying to be honest. Phantom of the Opera. Well, Phantom of the Opera is a classic film. I enjoy that more than Creature from the Black Lagoon, I would say. You got the original Lon Chaney there. That's a great role. Classic, man. No. Oh, Ben Grimm says Phantom of the Opera is his least favorite. I do enjoy The Invisible Man too. That is definitely a classic. I enjoy The Mummy, the original Mummy with Boris Karloff is great. Some of the sequels too, which Lon Chaney was in one of them, wasn't he? I think he was in a couple of them. Lon Chaney Jr. And that's so awesome because Lon Chaney Jr. played like all the classic monsters. He played Dracula, he played Frankenstein's monster, and the Ghost of Frankenstein. He played the Mummy. He played. I think I mentioned Dracula. I'm not sure if he played the Invisible Man though. Phantom of the Opera is boring. Says Pages, Films, and Plastics. I didn't think so. I enjoyed it, but to each their own. I liked I actually did like the remake with Robert Englund, the horror version, the real horror version, and that was basically a slasher movie. And of course, you had like the rock and roll version. You had the Phantom of the Paradise. That was a cool one too. Very psychedelic. So, getting back to Halloween Kills, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think Jamie Lee's gonna bite the dust this time? You think Laurie Strode is a goner? I'm not sure. I am not sure on that. I know it seems like a lot of people want her to go away for some reason. I'm not sure I'm ready for her to go away because I love the character of Laurie Strode. I mean, if she hadn't been in the 2018 Halloween, I wonder if it would have been as successful as it was. Because she's I mean, the general public, when they think of Halloween, they think of Laurie Strode as Jamie Lee Curtis. She puts asses in the seats. She's the star. And she is the star that kind of got broke away from horror and became an even bigger star from doing stuff like Trading Places and True Lies and all that. Lord willing, she is. Ben Grimm says, "You're ready to see her go, huh?" You know your stuff, Sean. Thank you. Alex 2.0 joining us. Welcome, sir. Jamie Lee probably won't die in Halloween Kills, but will have more of a minor role. You think she's gonna have a more of a minor role in the movie? You're not sure about that. I like the idea of I had mentioned it before in one of my shows. I would like to see her become like the Dr. Loomis character, you know. That would be interesting. Like, dear, I thought it would be cool to have everyone like move on, you know, and Michael move on even, like, and go somewhere else and terrorize another town, but then Laurie sees it from the news or something, the terror that's being caused, and nobody else really knows or understands who did it, but she knows it's him. So she feels guilty about that and then has to go there to take down the madman once and for all. That would be my Halloween Kills. And then maybe you have there needs to be one last final battle between Michael and Laurie to end all battles and make it epic. And because I thought they were gonna do that in the last one, but I was actually very shocked that they all survived, you know. It sure seemed like Michael bit the dust there, but I guess he didn't. What do you guys think about the that you heard? I'm sure that they're doing kind of flashback scenes uh with, I guess, I don't know, with the young Laurie. I know it's gonna be a young Michael again with the original mask untainted, and I guess Lonnie Lamb's going to be in those scenes too, and maybe young Lindsay. Should be interesting. I wonder if they're gonna have like de-aged versions of Laurie. Pages Films and Plastic asks, "Have you ever seen Dead Silence? I loved it. Hope they make a sequel." I saw it once and it seemed pretty creepy, but I felt like it kind of dragged on a little, honestly. But I'd be willing to give it a try again once, you know. I thought it did have a creepy atmosphere, and I thought the doll was pretty creepy too. Um, I honestly don't remember much about it because I haven't seen it since it like first came out on DVD. But it didn't really leave much of an impression, to be honest. But I get why people like. I'll say the atmosphere was very good, and the way it was filmed was very cool. That part of it I do like. I mean, the whole killer doll thing. How much can you do with that? That hasn't already been done with Chucky and Annabelle, and there's been a countless other films too. But I like Dead Silence a lot too, but I also know it's not great, says Ben Grimm. Stealing your name from the Thing, right? Marvel character from the Fantastic Four. That's his name, I believe. Ben Grimm. Are you a comic book fan, Ben Grimm? Once upon a time, I was. I used to collect comics all the time. Now I just watch the comic book movies, and I'm a big fan of those. It's clobbering time. Yes. Now that's one thing they really have not gotten right in the movies is the Fantastic Four. My God. They sure have mucked those up. Oh, especially those ones with Chris Evans and who else was in that? Jessica Alba. Oh, those are awful. And then this Fant Force stick or whatever. Even worse. Hulk smash. What do you guys think about the Black Widow coming out? I thought that seemed interesting. But it's almost like too little, too late. Why are they coming out with that now after Endgame? It's like, but you never know. It could be just a good one-shot movie. Ben Grimm says I like the old Thing cartoon from the 80s where it was a teen who had a ring that turned him into the Thing. Yeah, I remember that cartoon. My favorite 80s cartoon, well, comic book based cartoon was Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Freaking love that one. With his friends. Ice, Iceman and Firestar. Do 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 do. The freaking show is awesome. Yeah, exactly. I think the best made Spider-Man cartoon though was the 90s version. It had great animation and great like it moved fast. It had great fast pace to it. I loved the music and it had great it had all the great characters in there. Venom and Carnage and Dr. Octopus, everyone was in that thing. And they were all very well done, all the characters. Sandman. Oh, now you got Morbius coming out soon with Jared Leto. I thought that looked pretty cool, actually. And of course, you see that they're tied together. You saw the vulture there at the end of the preview. I thought that was awesome. Like, oh, snap. Ben Grimm says, yeah, definitely 90s version, although Spectacular Spider Man was good too. Hmm. I haven't really seen that one. I hear a lot of people love that though. The Spectacular Spider Man, but it didn't last too long. It wasn't only like one or two seasons, I think. Probably the worst one was that one they had on MTV. It was like all CGI, but it was like really slow moving CGI. It was like bad. Well, it's turning into a whole stream. I thought I was just gonna be messing around, checking the mic. Screw it, man. I'm just hanging out, man. Fuck it. Oops, I spoke French there. 2 seasons. I know a lot of people were disappointed about. Yeah, the computer graphic one. Neil Patrick Harris, yes, was on MTV. I mean, I just didn't. I don't know. The animation was like weird. I like the one where Silver Sable was in it though. I am still dying to see the Black Cat on the big screen. I'm sick and tired of waiting. Do it now. I want Black Cat in a movie in full gear. Felicia Hardy. Do it. It teased us an Amazing Spider-Man 2 there. Like, I don't even count that, though. It's like, that's just some chick named Felicia. That's not the Black Cat. I don't know. I guess people that maybe they're afraid people confuse it with the Catwoman. I don't know. Whatever. I love the Black Cat. It's almost like every other character has been done except her. So when I heard that they were gonna do the Silver Sable and Black Cat movie, I was actually really excited about that. But I don't know if that's ever gonna happen at this point. I haven't heard any movement on that. Maybe they'll just I don't know, maybe she'll just guest star in one of the movies, who knows? They had a weird one where Spider-Man went to another planet, huh? Bitch, you been to space. Have you seen you guys see Far From Home? Who would you cast as the Black Cat? Hmm, that's tough. Ah, I know, what's her name? Christina Hendricks. Perfect build, right? She'd be great to put her in the long white hair, could wear that outfit. She's a good actress too. Why not? That's my vote. Christina Hendricks. What about you, Ben Grimm? Who would you cast in that role? She's Medusa. What you mean? She's in one of the Marvel movies? No kidding. I didn't know that. I haven't seen that show. I heard it was terrible though. Yeah, I heard of it, but I didn't see it yet. But I heard it was bad because originally that was supposed to be a movie, a big budget blockbuster movie, and then the fact that they made a TV show kind of really downgraded it. At any rate, any other good you guys looking forward to Quiet Place Part 2? Did you see the preview to that? I think it looks pretty damn good. I love The Quiet Place. I think that's an excellent movie. Hayden Panettiere. Not so familiar with her. What wasn't she in one of those like Disney shows like Wizards of Waverly Place or something? I know that's Selena Gomez. But wasn't she in one of those Disney things? Bailey would do nice Black Cat. Maybe. I am a fan of Bailey. I am a big wrestling fan, if you guys didn't know that. I could do a whole show on that too. She was the cheerleader in Heroes. I've never seen that show either. I know Blaspheme, that's a superhero show, right? She was on Nashville. Oh yeah, that I don't think I've seen that though, but I heard about it. It's like about a country music singer or something. Becky Lynch, nah, get out of here. Way too Irish. Black Cat should be a New Yorker with like a New York accent. Can't see Bailey. She's too like, well, now that she's a heel, might be a little better. But I always think of Bailey as being the goody goody with the blow up things. And you guys were gonna watch the Royal Rumble this Sunday? Blake Lively, yeah, Blake Lively. That's better. Now you're talking. I can see that. Good actress, very nice looking. Ryan Reynolds' girlfriend. Deadpool. Yeah, that's a good pick. I could see that. Mic check 1, 2, 3. I want Braun Strowman to win the Royal Rumble. Hmm. I don't know what it is about Braun Strowman. Like they won't let him win the title or anything. He's been doing it for so long now and just never seems to be able to get to the very top. Even though he is a freaking monster. Yeah, well, Brock beat him like 5 times already, so they've already done that. They had some good matches though. Yeah, I could talk about wrestling for hours, I've been watching wrestling since I was a little kid, I can't remember not being a fan. As far back as I can remember, I watched it. And I was one of the few guys that I watched NWA back in the day, even when WWF was the big thing. I still watched NWA too. And they had a lot of cool stuff going on and great wrestling. I love the Road Warriors and Sting and of course Ric Flair. I mean, the only wrestler that could easily beat Brock Lesnar is actually Braun Strowman. You would think, you would think. But the problem is that ship has already sailed. The Scottish guy, oh yeah, I love Drew McIntyre. I definitely could see that. I want to see him fight Brock. The Scottish psychopath. He's a badass. more than 40 years, me too. Actually about 40 years because I'm 43, so 3 years old. Yeah, I'm sure I was watching wrestling at that point. Sorry, Ben Grimm, but the Scottish guy cannot beat Brock. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? So Brock's going to enter in at number 1 as the champion, which I don't think they've done that before. Like, used to not be able to go into him. Usually the point is that you win the Royal Rumble and then fight for the champion. Brock's already champion. So it's kind of weird that he's entering the Royal Rumble. I guess just to prove a point that he can kick everyone's ass. What's your thoughts on the current WWE product? I like it. I still like. I enjoy it. It's got its problems. I'm not gonna lie. I do like what Seth Rollins is doing right now with the AOP and all that. The Monday Night Messiah. And my favorite current wrestler is Seth Rollins. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, and he's got all the tools. And of course, AJ Styles is fantastic. Even at his age, he's in his 40s now, and he's still flying around. Awesome, awesome wrestler. And I've been watching him since TNA. Yeah, I followed TNA. I've followed so many things. WCW, the whole Monday Night Wars, even before that. The most shocking event has been Seth Rollins beating Brock twice. Yeah, that's true. I like Andrade. Yeah, I like. I don't like Andrade so much as I like Zelina Vega. I really like her. And I like how she gets she pretty much wins all his matches for him. Every match he does, she gets heavily involved in, and he wins because of it. Great match on Raw there with the ladder match with Rey Mysterio. That was a good one. The Horror Boy. Welcome to Horror Boy. Everybody just tuning in. I was just starting up this little stream. It's already been almost an hour. I've just been messing around. Oh, really? She's married to Aleister Black? Get out of here. That's awesome. She is hot. Speaking of TNA, have you guys seen recent product? You got Tessa Blanchard as the world champion, not just the women's champion, the world champion of TNA. Which I thought was very interesting. That was a pretty ballsy thing to do, I have to admit. I haven't really watched it much since like when they were on Spike TV there with the Hulk was there too for a while, Bischoff and Hogan, and it was probably at their biggest, but still they were no match for WWE, obviously. They tried to go against WWE and they failed miserably. Honestly, I don't think there's ever going to be another WCW that can take on, that has the power to take on WWE and do what they did. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Yeah, I know AEW is pretty good, yeah, but they are never going. I don't think they will ever be a serious competition for WWE. That's just my opinion. I've watched the product a few times and I enjoy it, and it's cool, but it ain't gonna be WWE. They'd have to do something huge, like WCW did, NWO. I mean, that was just monstrous, you know. And it's not only that. I mean, WCW had so many tools going for them. It wasn't just NWOs. NWO and Sting being the guy directly against them. And you had all the other guys that had been with WCW a long time that were the backbone. You had Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and all those guys. So many tools. They had the Steiner brothers, you know. They just had an incredible lineup, and then they brought in the luchador guys, and they had the cruiserweight matches. There was so much going on. It was so cool. Of course, they effed it all up in the end, but unfortunately. And it's really sad to watch those last days of WCW. It's like, what happened? How could they let this happen, you know? They were on top of the world beating WWE. They beat them. And they just let it slip through their fingers, you know? And they had to hire that dink Vince Russo to run it into the freaking ground with his ridiculous storylines and nonsense gimmick matches, and so frustrating. And I was there to watch it fall, watch it all crumble. Haven't watched Raw and SmackDown in weeks. I don't care. I haven't watched SmackDown because I don't even have regular TV, honestly. That's a pretty big deal, though, that they're on Fox, you know, a real network, you know, not just a cable. And I always saw SmackDown as inferior to Raw, you know. But it seems the pendulum is swinging a bit there. They're on a real network now, you know, not just USA. Or I still prefer Raw. I watch Raw and SmackDown on Hulu. I watch Hulu. I watch Raw on Hulu. And I love that you can watch it with no commercials. It just goes by so quickly. It's the commercials that make it 3 hours long. It's only 2 hours long when you watch it on Hulu. Roman versus Baron Corbin. They fight every week. I know, right? It, at least I haven't seen those stupid guys like the Fashion Police or New Day. I always hated New Day. It's so lame. Throwing pancakes around. So embarrassing. Embarrassment to wrestling. So turning into the wrestling show from horror. I went from horror to wrestling. Hey, I could do wrestling. I could talk wrestling all freaking night. At any rate, I'm glad the stream here was a success and that my mic is working good. And thank you guys so much for joining me in the chat here, Ben Grimm. And we had the late horror show earlier. We have Kyle and Pages, Films, and Plastics. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me here. Having a great time just hanging out with you guys at 1:35 in the morning. Luckily, I don't have work tomorrow morning, so You liked Vampiro. He was one of the leader guys in WCW. And probably one of the few good things about the later era of WCW. He was pretty cool. He had the white mick. He looked like a vampire. He looked like one of the Misfits, and I think he came out. Didn't he come out with the Misfit guys? The band, the punk band. Best horror based wrestler, yeah. Oh my god, remember remember when they did the demon based on the Kiss he was based on Kiss, the band. He had he looked like Gene Simmons in the demon makeup or whatever. Oh, that was so lame. I'm sure that was a Vince Russo idea. Papa Shango. Not my favorite era of WWE. That was probably my least favorite era of WWF of all time when they did the early 90s with Papa Shango and stupid stuff like the Repo Man and very, very cartoonish characters. They had Chucky in WC. I remember that. It was bad. Oh, they had so many bad things going on. Embarrassing when Kofi Kingston lost to Brock. Yeah. But it's believable. Honestly, because in real life, that's probably what would happen. Brock is a monster. He is a beast, and he is so believable. I know people don't like him because he's like a part timer or whatever, but he's a beast. He is. He will destroy it. He lives to hurt people. He enjoys it, and he's good at it. To me, he sells every bit of it too. He's a great actor too. Like when he gets hurt, he sells the hell out of it. He's believable. And him just destroying people and running through people, I believe it. you know? He's a monster. He actually won the UFC championship. How legitimate is that? How much more legitimate can you be? Why do you think they pay him so much money, to just make appearances here and there? Because he puts asses in the seat, man. People want to see him. They want to see him destroy people. but I get what people's gripes are that he kind of holds other wrestlers back, some of the younger talent and it's a legitimate gripe. But personally, I do enjoy seeing him. I buy it. It's like Goldberg back in the day. That's what I thought it was cool when he fought Goldberg there. Which unfortunately Goldberg's past his prime these days, but I would have loved this. Well, technically, it did fight when he was in his prime, but it was kind of a botched match there at WrestleMania. What I consider unnecessary is Paul Heyman. Yeah, but he's pretty freaking entertaining. He makes me laugh. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, Brock doesn't really need him. He can talk fine. I've seen him in interviews. It's actually pretty entertaining because he's such a like a badass. But you know, you got the hype man and Paul Heyman, and he's entertaining. You know, Brock Lesnar, the reigning, defending. Sorry, guys, it turned into a professional wrestling stream. Can't believe I'm up this late. Thank God I don't have to work tomorrow. Anyway, let's talk some horror. What do you guys think of the original Maniac from 1980? You guys gonna watch the stream Friday? Awesome slasher. What's your favorite slasher movie from the 1980s? That's a good question. It can be a from one of the franchises, you know. That's the thing. I don't like to limit it when I put lists together. Like I'm not gonna include the big franchises. Well, those are the best slasher movies, you know. I can't in all good conscience come up with a slasher list and not include like Halloween 2 or something. Jason all the way. Freddy is my all-time favorite, Ben Grimm says. What's your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film? What time will the stream be on Derek's Horror Corner? Actually, it's gonna be on my channel, Movie Freak 688. Which was actually his suggestion. I was surprised. I thought he would want to have it on his channel, but I'll do it. I'll tell you in a minute when it's gonna be. I actually forgot. I have to look at my Facebook Messenger. It was either 7 or 8. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do a little promo for that. Hopefully, Dream Warriors is your favorite, huh? Man, a lot of people love that movie. I'm surprised so many people love that even more than the original from 1984. I'm an original guy. I love the original film. It's a masterpiece to me. I think it's a lot scarier, you know. And Robert Englund as Freddy was a lot scarier, I think, in the original movie. Part two as well. Part two might be the scariest Freddy Krueger. You know, people don't give Freddy's Revenge a lot of credit because there are some flaws. I'll be honest, but I really like to. About you guys, The Brain. I don't think I've ever seen that. The Brain. I've seen The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Here we go, Derek. Let's see, 7 to 9. Okay, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the live stream is going to be with me and Derek from Derek's Horror Corner. We're going to do the live commentary. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry about that. The brain looks like a giant mad ball. I remember those things, mad balls. So tune in and stay scared on 7 to 9 on this upcoming Friday. Tune in to the Horror Corner, my channel, and we're going to have live commentary on Maniac from 1980, the slasher classic starring Joe Spinell and the lovely Carolyn Monroe, who is in one of my favorite Hammer horror films, Taste the Blood of Dracula. Oh no, I'm sorry. I can't believe I just messed that up. No, she's in 1972. My bad, guys. Very memorable performance in that film. And of course, she was in The Spy Who Loved Me. She's a Bond girl as well. And let's see, what's another fun fact? That Carolyn Monroe was also in another movie with Joe Spinell called Star Crash. The biggest ripoff of Star Wars ever, probably. One monster not a lot of people mention, but I love is Pumpkinhead, says Pages Films and Plastics. Yeah, that's definitely a really cool looking monster is Pumpkinhead. Absolutely. Definitely enjoyed that one with Lance Henriksen. 1988, I believe. Definitely loved the design of Pumpkinhead. I think was Stan Winston. I think didn't Stan Winston actually direct that movie? Am I wrong? I know he definitely designed the monster, but I think he even directed the movie. I know part 2 gets a lot of crap though. There's 3 of them. How many pumpkin heads are there? 3 or 4? I kind of lost sight after the first one. Anyway, guys, if you ever get a chance to see, yeah, Blood Wings, that's right. Number 3, I think a lot of people give shit for, you know. Blood Wings. It has a giant brain hypnotize a town. I gotta check that out, the brain. That sounds fun, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to see Star Crash, check it out. It's like one of those so bad it's good movies. It's got David Hasselhoff in there, and they actually use lightsabers in the movie. I shit you not. Don't know how they got away with that. It's so bad though. It's horrible. But Carolyn Monroe looks good.